5, I was thinking, but then queen f3 was a problem. Originally, I thought, he doesn't have the queen f3 move, but he does have the move, and after this is very complicated, and he has a very big initiative, and I didn't really feel like it's worth going for that, so that's why I played bishop f5.
Indeed, bishop f5 was absolutely the strongest move. We were really shocked, the way you were just blitzing out the moves. It looked like you had this all planned, and then you finally played rook to d8. There were different ways to win instead of rook to d8. You could have also played h4.
Now, what would happen, I wasn't so sure, if he would have played, after bishop f5, if he would have played h3, I wasn't sure what was happening.
Bishop f5, I think h3 is bad for him as well.
I must have missed something then. Bishop takes e4, okay. H takes g4, oh, queen b6.
Oh, you didn't
Oh, I didn't see queen b6. That's the only move that wins. That's a very nice move. Wow. Because after queen takes c4, queen takes f2, and h takes g4. No, I completely missed that move. I did not see it.
Well, you probably would have seen it given time,
I'm not so sure. It's very hard, not obvious move at all.
No,
I mean, I was probably thinking about bishop c6 or bishop g6. This move I didn't even consider that move.
Wow.
So queen b6 is a typical computer move. I would say I would probably not see it, and it would probably be roughly an equal game. So I was surprised that he didn't play h3, because I thought the other thing that he did, I just had all the initiative.
Wow. So Yasser said sometimes it pays to be lucky, and I guess in this case he's right. Or maybe he saw the move queen b6, and that's why he avoided the line.
Yeah.
He was in terrific time pressure. But then at some point, the game started going back and forth a little bit. You were up in exchange, but it wasn't clear that you were just ramming home your advantage. Were you worried that you had blown it at some point?
I didn't think that I blown it, but I knew it was going to be very difficult, and I knew not to relax. I knew that I would have to show good technique to win it, because as we know, yesterday I got very lucky. My opponent blew a completely winning position, because he probably thought he's winning no matter what almost, and I didn't want to make the same mistake as my opponent did yesterday, Gareev. So it was very important that I had a lot of time. It was very important that I take my time and find the best plan. Because when you're winning, especially in the endgame, I'd always tell all the kids and students not to ever rush. So that's the time you just gotta buckle down and find the best plan.
Fantastic advice. You're the sole leader of the U.S. Championship. Right now you have 2.5 points by yourself. What do you do to stay focused on the job at hand? There's still 8 rounds to go.
I'll just take it one move at a time, one game at a time. It's obviously a very long tournament. It's early to draw any conclusions. And in fact, I could have easily had 1.5 out of 3. But I'll take it, and like I said, one step at a time, and try to prepare for Ray tomorrow.
Fantastic advice. And you just mentioned Ray Robson, who was your co-leader who drew against Kamsky this last round. What's your history matchup with him? And what do you do to really play powerful chess?
Well, he's a very good player, so I have to be at my best. I have to bring my A game and hope for the best. Just battle and do my best.
What's your history with him? Do you have him?
We've played quite a few times, but as of recently, I won in the U.S. Championship 2 years ago against him, and then I drew against him in Chicago, and then we played 2 games a long while ago, and he beat me 1 game there. But we were both in the U.S. juniors, so no, I know he's a very good player, and he's a rapidly improving player as well. So it's going to be a very tough game.
You were a little kid back then. You're an old man now.
Well, he was even younger, so I don't know whose advantage it came to, but.
Indeed. Well, we wish you the best of luck in tomorrow's game and in the rest of the championship.
Thank you very much.
Grandmaster Alex Lenderman, hailing from Brooklyn, let me just add again, leading the tournament, 2.5 points. Great place to be. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice. A very impressive start for Alex there with 2.5 points. He's making victories look easy, and I see our U.S. champion Gata Kamsky struggling to even get a victory. And we do have just a few games left
yeah,
for
some
this
of them
round
will
3.
be over pretty soon. It looks like, Gareev is wrapping up this endgame against Naroditsky. The pawns are actually equal, but boy, White's king is going to be on f5,
Ooh.
the bishop's going to go to f4, the pawn's going to go to h6, and that's not going to be fun for black.
No saving that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so
for
that was
Daniel.
a nice technique, I think. He gave up his a pawn to trade rooks, and now he just walks his king up, and it looks like he's walking somewhere else.
Yes, yes.
So
And
this
in the
game-
other games?
This game is over, and it looks like Anna's going to win any second if they're still playing.
Anna Zatomsky.
This looks like she's many pawns up
Against-
with a nice king and
S-
nice pass
ooh.
pawn.
And rook. So, oh, sorry, that is a rook on g3. I apologize. I thought she was just going to be a rook. And it does look indeed, you called it,
They're
right
just signing
on.
the score
They're
sheets now.
signing the score sheets.
So this means Anna's tied for first with Irina Krush in the
Right,
Women's
that will bring
Championship.
her up to 2.5 points. And the other games, Ben, so we're getting results coming in fast and furious. How
You know,
about the
one of the
game
things
with
that's really,
Camilla?
really surprising is I wanted to look at Tate's game because
Sure.
because there's been no move since the time control. After this
my.
discovered check possibility,
Mm-hmm.
instead not moving at all, and I think she's used 20 minutes and still hasn't made a move.
Wow. Wow. So that game is on freeze mode at the moment.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like if there's not a good discovered check, it's just going to be good for white.
Absolutely. That pawn on that a5 pawn going to a6 is going to put Nemkova in a lot of trouble. And then the game
There's one more
of,
game. Yeah,
yes,
our
of
youngest
Camilla.
participant.
I was just very curious. There seems to be a missing d5 pawn.
There is, but
When-
there seems to be a nice H pawn here for white also.
Okay.
Well, I gotta
But-
like white. Pass pawns on both sides of the board.
I know, but I don't know. Sometimes the king can come to c3 and maybe d pawn goes or b pawn goes.
So you think black's getting some counterplay?
I think it can be calculated, move on move type of thing. I'm sure I prefer to be white. I mean, past a pawn, past h pawn, as your graphic
Yeah, I'm
shows.
thinking I can play queen g6 and then just start pushing my h pawn.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that this is cut and dried, simple. I'd still think that Camilla might
little work
put
to
up
be done.
Yes, a little bit work. And speaking of a good worker, we do have Timur Gariev in our studio. He is standing by with Maurice to share with us his thoughts of how he won today. Maurice.
With the number 2 seed in the tournament, Timur Gareev, first of all, congratulations and thanks for coming on our show.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, Timur, you had a completely winning position yesterday. Not to remind you of bad news.
I just heard Alex say. He was on point. Yeah, that's true.
So, indeed, you had a winning position yesterday. And how did you come back after that disappointment to play this game today?
Oh, I was pretty terrible. And plus, I was super tired. I guess it was a combination of, just, spending a lot of energy and not winning the game.
Indeed.
So, and I mean, it was really, if you look at the variations, I mean, I had an idea in mind that was better than what I played. But whatever, you can't just play perfect every game.
Did you sleep badly
Obviously.
last night? I mean, did you think?
Well, I played an excellent game up to that point, up to the point when I, made the mistake, But yeah, it's nice to win today, So first victory,
Clean it up, absolutely. That's why I was
Been
curious to
looking
know
forward
what you did, because a lot of us go through that, not win a game and have to deal with a game the next day. What do you get angry? Do you just get it out your mind? What do you do? Any techniques? Watch a movie maybe?
Oh,
how
yeah.
do you clear your brain so you can
Oh,
play the next day?
Actually, yeah, true. I was just, just trying to do, in the past few days, I was, trying to push myself a little bit, exercise more, do more things. Today, I just figured I need more rest. I was just sleeping more and then was lying down more and just, watching some videos online. So
Get
just
the
trying
energy
to,
back.
to make it a little more simple. And then, I showed up a little more relaxed. And, I guess my opponent, Naroditsky, missed a couple opportunities. His opening certainly was promising, despite the fact that my position looks really solid and advanced. I think he missed a couple opportunities, allowing me to just keep going forward. And it was surprising that, going forward that hard, I wasn't getting him right away. And then he just kept going tactical, and I was just in no mood to complicate things. So I was just trying to simplify position, and eventually, I guess in a way lucky for me. On the other hand, I mean, I certainly have some big positional advantage. the bishop is stuck on g7, and well,
Well, they
eventually.
say luck goes to the strong, so you obviously have to make your own
Yeah,
luck
yeah, so-
as well. You can't be unlucky every single
Yeah, I
day.
cannot be unlucky every time.
So he resigned in this position. I'd like you to take the folks through the following moves to see why exactly did he resign at this moment. Just give us a couple of reasons why.
Well, I guess this position kind of represents what I've been aiming to accomplish in the past 20 moves or even more. I guess maybe 30 moves. But I think what was really cool is for me to get, let's see, from about the position with, I guess, yeah, that's not that much of an advantage. I mean, it's close to 1 point. And then right about here, I mean, I get, even here it's not that big. I mean, yesterday I had +3. So here, but you can see that black is just hopeless here in positional sense. But then there's only.
Why is that? Just
Well,
explain to the audience.
Here's
in
the
layman's
deal.
terms.
Just in terms of resources, you can see that the king is restricted. The king cannot go here because there's a pawn on h5. The king cannot go through h6 because there's a bishop here. So how's the king getting through? So it's not getting through.
Your king is stuck on the back row too, though.
Yeah,
so-
that's definitely true. So I was working to actually.
Okay, you threw our position off. I got to find your game back. Here we go.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, that's definitely. If my king is on d3, the evaluation would be +3.
Absolutely.
But and then I also have the weak pawn on b3. I'm getting the pawn on a5. So there's tactical uncertainty, but very slight uncertainty, because still strategically I'm pursuing same goals.
And you have great pawns. Certainly the isolated
I have
pawns.
excellent pawns. They're restricting black. So if black doesn't have counterplay, that's when basically my opponent has to resign. So, and that's kind of when we reach this position. My opponent doesn't have much counterplay because my king is coming through towards e3 and f5, picking out the pawn. Both of these pawns are on dark squares, accessible for my bishop. And there's this killer pawn on h that's going forward, which I can move at any point that I like. My king can penetrate from e6 and g6. So it's just
Totally crushing.
totally crushing. Yeah.
Very clear. You explained right there. Thank you so much. So you got your win, right?
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you got a
yeah.
win. How do you feel now moving forward in the championship? I mean, certainly not yesterday. Today now, it should be a brighter day.
Oh, well, it's nice to get more wins. After you get the first one, I mean, would have been nicer to have 2 wins. But I was looking at my pairings, and I'm very happy with the colors. I just kind of looked at it briefly, and I was pretty happy with
Who do
the
you play
colors.
tomorrow?
I think Mackenzie. I think so. So yeah, I just get more victories. But it's 11 rounds, so we've only done 2 games. Gata is still
three
warming
games.
up, so hopefully that's the way he's gonna keep going for a while. But we'll see. I mean, it's even hard to think about my opponents or potential competition. What I gotta do essentially is just play the best game myself. As we can see, anybody can get hot and start winning games. So
Indeed. Well,
yeah.
thanks so much for your time, and we wish you the best in the rest of the game.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Grandmaster Timur Gareev now on +1 and looking to go up. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Timur. Indeed, I thought that was a very nice, impressive victory by Timur. Final position was totally won, as was explained.
That was just no fun for black after
No,
f6.
no.
Just passive the rest of the way.
Just a small regret that Maurice didn't take him to the mat there and ask him, what about that knight d7 position? Because that move, knight d7, I think would have given Daniel, if you don't mind, Ben, just bringing that one position up on our board for a moment, because I think that move, knight d7, really deserved attention. This came after the f5 move was thrown, and this was the moment where Daniel probably missed his best chance by not playing the move knight d7. Had he made that move, I think it would have, all 3 results would have been possible. Let's just put it that way. All right, we're wrapping up the round 3 today. I do promise you that we will be airing the interview with Rex Sickenfield. It will be aired tomorrow, probably a little bit before the show starts, but we'll find a good time slot. It's a wonderful interview, by the way. Rex really, his humor shines through.
An interview with Rex Singfield is a great Mother's Day present for anybody.
I'm not so sure about that.
Unless you're a Yankees fan, then maybe not.
There you go. But speaking of Mother's Day, that's coming tomorrow. One of our co-leaders in the Women's Championship is none other than four-time winner Anna Zatonsky, and she's with Maurice, and she's really happy.
Well, we got Mother's Day tomorrow, and she's a mom, so she gets the rest day, which will be nice to shop for her mom, and she said shop for her daughter as well. So
Yes.
congratulations on your victory today.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, it was tough the first round. You had some work. Now you've won 2 in a row. Like, what's got you warming up in this championship?
I don't know. I think it's just first round is always difficult to play for me somehow. Or even if I'm winning, I'm not getting a very promising position in the first round. It's kind of bad transitions for me.
I see. You played against Sabina Feuser. She was on 2-0. Was this a big game for you? Did you feel like you really had to lay the hammer down and you're going for the win right from the start?
Not really, because yesterday she had losing position. It's not like she demolished everyone in this tournament. And of course, I tried to play some sharp variations. And when I was preparing, I tried to avoid some lines where I change all pieces. And I don't know. I tried to play for win from first moves because I think I had to win this game.
You think you had to win this game?
Yes. Yeah.
And why so?
I have a good score, and I think I don't know if she's in good shape or not. But yesterday she didn't play very good, so I thought I just playing better. And
Indeed. So at some point though, there was some funny time pressure issues. It looked like right from the opening, you guys were sitting there on move 13 or so with very little time, maybe under half an hour on the clock.
I can explain why. Could you please go after move d5? So I think.
We're going here?
Yeah, no, before, when I played d5.
On move 4 even?
Yeah, on move 4 I played d5. All my life I played here castle, and of course I'm playing many other openings like Queen's Gambit and some other variations. And I prepared move d5, and I didn't know knight f3. I think it's a rare move, at least I was not aware of this move.
That's what all our d4 players are saying here too, that knight
Yes.
f3 is a rare move.
Yes. So, and I was thinking, should I play quiet here or c5? And of course, this is just natural feeling when you see such move, knight f3, which you didn't expect. You want to play quiet variation. You don't want to go to sharp line after c5. And I had to make decision to castle or play c5 to some concrete lines, and without any knowledge. So, but I think c5 is a good move, right?
Well, I think Houdini agrees with you that c5 seems like a good way to play. Seems like no advantage for her. So that cost you a lot of time. That must have burned her a lot of time as well. And then later the game got really complicated right out of the opening.
And probably I would like to point out that she made some psychological mistakes. Probably move e4. Could you please go? Can I?
Sure.
It's okay. Maybe instead of e4, was interesting to play bishop h4. Yes, bishop h4. Of course, I'm winning pawn. I'm winning pawn on a3, but she will have compensation, and keeping queens on board very important. Thinking how severe my pressure, my time pressure was already on move 11. I think I had here maybe 25 minutes, and maintaining tension. It was important for her because after e4. We exchanged queens, and it was very easy for me to find moves.
Spoken like a true veteran. Looks like you've played in this once or twice before. So you get a rest day tomorrow.
Yes.
You said you were going to shop for your mom on the rest day.
Yes.
What about your children? Do they get to shop for you too?
Okay, Sophia is 7 years old. So
She's old enough to shop.
no, she's not interested in shopping.
Well, we hope you enjoy the rest day. Congratulations. Oh, one last thing, it seems like a horse race, a 2-horse race all the time, and now you are tied with your main rival who has drawn her game today. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts about that? You guys meet late in round 8 of the competition. How do you feel about the next rounds going forward?
Okay, so I'm pretty happy that at least I'm winning games, and I'm playing better chess, I think, than in first round. And there is still more round and strong opponents, many strong opponents, and I think we will lose points. I'm pretty sure we will lose some points before we will meet each other. And right now I'm concentrated on my future games. And
Professional attitude. Well, congratulations on your win today, and best of luck in the rest of the games.
thank you.
4-time champion Anna Zatonski, tied for first. She's known this position before. We'll see how the competition heats up in round 4 of the championship. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice, and thank you, Anna, because Anna made a very good point. She used the term psychological, but in actuality, we saw it yesterday in the game between Sam Shanklin and Ray Robson, where essentially Ray got into really big time trouble, and then Sam basically hoovered the pieces off the board and allowed him, Ray, that is, to make a draw. In this game, Sabine, with her opponent under severe time trouble, came up with this move E4.
And then there was lots of trades.
Then there was lots of
Made it
trades.
easy for Black to play the position.
Precisely,
Yeah.
and that's something that just tournament players, competitive tournament players, have to keep in mind. Don't help your opponent solve their problems by trading off the pieces when they're in time trouble. We've had a glitch, I think, in the game of Tatiev. Not too many moves have come through. On our side here in the club, we can see that moves have been played. They haven't really been,
Yeah, I
for
put
some
more
reason,
moves
piped
on it.
on.
There was a very unusual move made after the time control. She played E3, which wasn't what I was expecting in this position.
E4, E3. No discovered checks, but E4,
Right.
E3.
And Tatev just checked and picked up the pawn. So it went.
Looks like a
it
good
went-
deal.
Yeah. Okay, this is the
The current
current
position.
position.
So-
Right. So E3, she just checked and picked up the pawn. Oh, let me copy the game again.
All right, so you can get up to date.
Yeah.
So we know the move E4,
E3,
check.
Queen check, and just took the pawn.
Right, because knight D5,
Yeah, knight d5 runs
Check.
into queen g3, and
queen G3, no
and
problem.
white's just a pawn ahead.
Right. So after queen takes E3, we have seen what move?
I think she played the move c5, getting her own pass pawn.
But now the A pawn, Tatiev white must be winning this position because she's a pawn to the good to begin with, so she's
Yeah,
got
her
the
king's a
saber
little
king.
safer too. This king's a little exposed here. There's a lot of space around here.
And the A pawn is far more dangerous than the C pawn. So I think Tatiev is well on her way to winning against Katya Nemkova. A6.
And also a big time advantage also, 17 minutes to 7. It took Nemkova a long time, but she really didn't find anything good.
It was that, again, it's the time trouble at the end of the first time control. I
Yeah.
thought Black was playing a really good game. She had a queen on D1, pinning white up.
Tatev wasn't really doing anything aggressive, just checking back and forth, trying to get to move forward.
And just hanging on not to lose a piece, actually.
Yeah.
Remember, she had to chase her queen all the way to A6. Big turnaround in this game. And besides this game, can we see the game of Camilla against our young 13-year-old phenom, who we think is winning with white, but made it a little bit difficult for herself. She had missed that beautiful move A5.
Wow.
Not the first move that comes to mind.
Right, yeah, actually they've made a lot of moves
Oh my.
since.
The moves
Let's
that have
see.
been made, by the way,
So
would
king,
appear.
king to D4.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have queen G6, which I suggested. Is that a good sign? So queen to
No.
G6. Not a good sign.
Honestly speaking.
Luckily, those of you at home, they can't see all the head shaking here. Well, I thought queen in the H-pawn was a good idea, but
Okay.
I've had worse ideas. And after queen G6, queen D5 was played. This is the discovered check day.
Right.
Everybody wants to play for discovered check.
Right.
And I guess Black has a couple of ideas. Not only your idea of king C3 and attacking this pawn, maybe using this king to stop the A pawn and attacking the pawn with the queen. So Black has lots of ideas.
Right.
So queen D5, this isn't a simple endgame at all. Queen to G7 check. sure about that move because that really stops us from.
I think it was time to. Wow, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't like the move Queen G7 check
And then
because
Queen G3 check. Wow.
she is just forcing Camilla's king to a much better square. So she's losing the thread a bit here. Eswaran,
I'm not sure
is
that
losing the thread.
That I like these moves. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and where do we currently stand?
I'm still trying to get to the position. Okay, King C2,
Okay,
and now she blocked the E pawn with Queen to E3.
but my goodness, big.
Pretty defensive.
Yeah, but big improvement for black because the black queen, first of all, is on D5, which covers the 5th rank, protecting against both white pawn advances. The king, black's king, is beautifully positioned on C2.
You can't expect a 13-year-old to have a lot of experience in queen and pawn endgames.
No,
that's something you get as a kid a lot.
No, you don't. That is true.
Now, Camilla wanted to queen her D pawn, so she played queen to E5.
Okay.
And she's making way for her D pawn to run down the board with tempo, I might add.
And by the way, very nicely supported by the king on a C2.
This comes to mind a game that you had against Predrag Nikolic, where I think you were down 3 pawns at a queen of pawn, but you drew anyway because you had the one passed pawn, and that's all you needed.
Right.
All you needed was that strong passed pawn.
Right.
But this is even better for black than your game because black's only down 1 pawn.
Exactly.
And now queen G5, trying to get to one of these winning
king and pawn
endgames.
But is that well, okay.
Yeah, it seems like if we take and try to win this pawn is just too strong.
Too fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, they've played one more move after queen G5, queen to D4. Mm-hmm. And now white finally got her pawn going H5.
Yay.
Although the queening square is defended,
Right.
this pawn is hanging. Are all 3 results possible?
No, I think it's more like a draw or a win for white still. Eswaran, I think, has had trouble what we would say poor technique.
Yeah, I think that really helped black getting her king down the board. Rather it was on E6 and E5, this is much better.
Big time. Well, we just heard Timur, a top world-class grandmaster, explaining about counterplay and the necessity and the ending of having an active king. And this is a shining example of what kind of counterplay can be produced. Have we seen king takes b3, by the way? Because I was kind of thinking about the line king takes b3.
King takes b3 was played. And
Okay.
by the way, 2 minutes for Camilla, 26 minutes for young Eswaran.
All right. And I was anticipating h6, why not? King c2, why not? h7, b3, go baby go. But white, I thought was going to be too fast after queen g8. I'm not sure. Queen g8, b2, what else, right? Do I have any reasons to trick you with some check at the moment?
Don't trick me. This is my first day here.
Well,
I'm not used to these tricks.
Do you know about the $64,000 best comments prize by the hosts?
I can't win that. I missed the first 2 days.
Okay, that's true. Well, this was important. Maurice, let me get you involved in this discussion. We are having a lot of fun in this queen ending. Let me throw it to Grandmaster Maurice Ashley to get his take.
Well, these queen endings are never fun. I remember way back when, am I going back to like 89? Whoa, way back when I lost one of these to Grandmaster Dmitry Gurevich. I was not even an international master yet. The New York Open, it took 8 hours. We were the only ones left in the playing hall, except my good buddy, Willie Johnson, who was sitting there commiserating. He was like, dude, I was a pawn down, and the GM milked me 2 in the morning when I lost that game, 8 hours long. This stuff is rough. And even now, it gets no easier. Even after I've studied these endings, it's not easy to decide what the best moves are. And guys, I have to tell you, even you're wrong, unfortunately. The computer is saying queen g6 was not the most accurate move. In fact, the most accurate move was queen to g7, so that after king down, stopping the king from going to c3, playing the move queen to g5, getting the pawn going forward immediately with tempo, and that this would have been a better way for her to go. By the way, it doesn't mean anything as far as game's over or winning. The computer agrees that this is a very difficult ending to play. She blew it a long time ago when she should have played that move a5. Now she's really got her work cut out for her. The good news is this ending is extremely complex. None of us can really figure it out. Every move is razor's edge. And at this point here that we have this position, this position in the game, and white trying to make progress. It's a difficult position to continue. Well, let me get the main line up first. Excuse me, guys. All right, so we're here now. It's difficult for black. Black's in time pressure, and black had some drawing chances trying to get at this king, but it turns out those chances have evaporated a bit. She has to find the right moves, precise moves now, with 1 minute and 22 seconds on her clock to try to draw. Any move that's off could give white an easy queen. Look at this. A queen's coming up really soon, but she does have this move, queen to d5. If she finds it, not the hardest move in the world to find, then this pawn push doesn't lead anywhere after this discovered check finally getting in, where she can push her own pawn forward. And take a look at this position. Queens arriving on the board, 2 queens, and she can get another queen, but try to calculate this mess. The computer says it's slightly better for black. It's white's move. It's white's move. 2 queens, but there's no mate. No matter how hard you try, there's no mate. So crazy position, and Camilla is gonna have to calculate this. This is a mess, and we'll see whether or not the youngster goes into this line, and she has found the move queen d5. So suddenly we can get that 4 queens position on the board. You know, they look so calm, guys. They look so calm. You know, it's churning inside, time pressure, U.S. Women's Championship. Amazing situation. We'll see what happens in the next few minutes. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice. That's an extraordinary line. I mean, I have had a career of more than 4,000 tournament games, and I think in my entire career I've only experienced one game where there were 4 queens on the board. Here we have the 13-year-old Aretha Swaron, and bang, up against one of the most experienced veterans in the women's tournaments, Camilla. And wow, that was wild. What a wild
this is an
variation.
amazing ending. It reminds me of the game that I annotated for our website here, her first game, which was a real up and down affair and really long, complicated ending.
Right.
She's going to get a lot of experience this tournament in endgames.
Talk about compressing a career's worth of experience into a single event. But we do have another result.
Yep. Tatev actually played quite well here and won quickly. She
All
played
right.
the move g3. Very strong move.
Attacking the knight. Forcing
Yeah, and
it
this
to-
got out of all the discovered checks we've been waiting for, but yeah, none of them seem to happen. Black played knight g6. That's a pretty sorry retreat. And the game ended actually very quickly. a6.
All right.
And it looks like the pawn's just
Go,
going
go.
to queen. Nemkova played queen c7, but
It was preventing a7.
a very short defense. The game ended in just 2 moves. Queen a3, threatening a7,
to advance.
queen a7, and now
Queen b2 check.
Yasser finds the winning move. Queen b2 check, followed by queen b7.
Clear and checkmating black's queen.
And it's amazing the knight on a3, which was stuck for so many moves, finally went to c4, allowing the discovered check. There weren't any good discovered checks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Nemkova is going to be very disappointed with the outcome of this game because he was doing so well. Just to finish if king g8 or king h8, queen b7, and we notice that after trading queens, queen takes b7, there's no way that black's knight can stop this pawn from promoting new queen, game over. So Nemkova very disappointed, I'm sure, with the result because she was battling right up to that time control where things went well just there.
Yeah.
And we do have Tatev joining us in our studio to explain this most complicated and complex battle. By the way, what is the tournament standings
Well, tied
after
for
this,
first, we have Irina
and Anna at
and then-
+2.
Yeah, and Tatev with 2 points. Is she in
Just
clear
a half a
third, or-
point.
Yeah, just half a point behind.
Very good, very good. All right, we're having set up the standings. Let us turn to Maurice and his guest, Tatev. Maurice.
We're with Tatev Abrahamian. We always get that wrong somehow. You know, I'm getting Yaz's
Struggle.
disease. It's a struggle to get through. But Tatev, we like to say, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Was it a dominant victory all the way through?
No, I think I was getting outplayed at some point, and actually I was really mad at myself because I got into really bad time trouble, like right out of the opening, totally unreasonable. So I'm gonna try to fix that.
Now, why did that happen?
I don't know. It's just this tournament. Sometimes you're a tournament, everything seems so easy, and sometimes you're a tournament, you just can't find moves.
It's
I
the
guess
U.S.
not.
Women's Championship. And this is not your first rodeo. You've been here before.
I know, but like sometimes some games they just feel like everything feels like it's so easy to find moves. Everything's like flowing easily, and sometimes just like my game yesterday was so hard to find, like impossible to find moves. Like every move was a struggle.
Now, was yesterday's game on your mind going into this round?
No, I mean yesterday's game. I thought I played better yesterday than I did today. Actually,
Really?
I mean I don't think it was a bad game. Just I made mistakes at some critical points.
Indeed.
How
So,
it just is.
were you surprised at this point when you suddenly had a winning position? Everything looked okay. It looked like a draw or maybe chances, and then all of a sudden you were there. Especially at the time control, I believe, at move 40 when she allowed you to play knight c4.
I mean, we were in such time trouble. I mean, I didn't really have time to evaluate what's going on. I'm just like trying to make moves, trying to make time. And yeah, actually, I played queen a7, queen a7, see where her king's gonna go, because now knight c4. Like if her queen is on first and knight c4, she can take on f1 because knight e5 check. So I just kind of wanted to see what she's gonna do, and then all of a sudden, like stumbled upon this position. And I was like, okay, that's nice.
Happy mistake.
But I always thought with my pawn on a5, maybe I have some chances because the pawn can really start moving.
Indeed. You have now 2 points, and the leaders right ahead of you have 2.5. We talked about it being a 2.5 horse race, and now they are on 2.5. What do you do now? I mean, it's they're totally in striking distance. How do you handle the games going forward?
I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. All I can control is my games. Right. I mean, I already lost to Anna, so there's nothing I can do about that anymore. So if she wins the rest of the games, then it doesn't matter.
Who do you play next?
Actually, I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
So I believe you play Irina in round 5, however. So
I think I'm white against her, so definitely not tomorrow.
so
Maybe I'm playing the other Irene.
so in some opportunity there, like you said, you can't control your destiny if Anna wins all her games, but that's highly unlikely in the tournament.
I mean, that has happened before, so who knows?
Indeed. Well, congratulations on your win. We wish
Thank
you
you.
the best of luck in the rest of your games.
Thank you.
Tatev Abrahamian, after winning her game in good spirits, going into the rest day. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice. And I can't help but reflect upon the irony of our 13-year-old in round 1 playing an 83-move game against Victoria to win it. And here she is with the veteran Camilla, the last game in the competitions to be finished. And talk about getting a test. Ben, 13 years old, playing more moves than anybody.
And she looks so calm.
And she looks so calm, and it's such a wild position on the board.
Wow, so h7 was played.
Look at this. You're
And then
going for the
E3
queen.
check.
E3 discover check. Black's going for queen herself.
Well,
Oh
Camilla
my
with 1 minute
goodness.
on her clock looks pretty calm. If I had 1 minute here, I'd be a little bit nervous.
Well, fortunately, she's giving a check. So,
Yeah.
what, Ben, can Eswaran do? She can advance her f-pawn to block the check with a pawn, or move her king. What do you
Boy,
reckon?
I'm glad I'm commentating today and not playing.
Not playing. This is wild. It could very easily turn into one of those positions that Maurice had presented us with, of 4 queens. And she's reaching for, Eswaran, I see her, and she has played the move king g2, to G3. She has played that move. Camilla to play down to 1 minute and 20 odd seconds to 26 minutes
Wow.
for Ashritha Eswar. Wow.
I would be
So-
afraid to play any move here for either side. It seems like it's really on the precipice of winning, drawing, losing for
craziness.
anything. Yeah.
So how about E3, E2? Put that move on our screen, because one pass pawn deserves another, and she
Is that what
has.
she played?
Camilla has played that move, picking up.
Luckily, these chess sets have extra queens. They're
Yes.
They're going to need them today.
Yes, the House of Staunton provides these really beautiful
They're just gorgeous.
DG2-enabled chess sets, and they're really, really handsome. The players love them. Shall we look at the line with both sides getting a
Everybody's
queen?
queening.
Everybody loves a queen. And
Normally, when it's your turn to play, you're looking good. but-
exactly, but I'm looking at this queen B2 check type of business, and
Ah, here they go. I can see
here
the
they go.
queens on
I
the
see
boards.
queens have landed.
The queens have landed.
Wow. This is crazy, crazy game.
Do we have the four queens engine?
The four queens engine. How about queen B2 check, Ben?
Uh-huh.
King basically has to go to D3. Let's just
Sure.
pop that. And now, does white have another good move? I'm thinking if you go queen H7 check, I could just go king C4, and I don't see
I think queen B2 check was played.
queen B2 was played. Okay, I'm thinking after king C4, I've got this queen E1 to C3
Yeah, if you
to
play
interpose,
queen A2, I have B3.
right?
But then if queen C2 check, I have queen C3 check.
Do you know those Sprite commercials? They used to really, there would be two people playing a game of chess in the park, and they both have their Sprite. And one actor would say check to the other player, and the player would go, oh, okay, check? Well, check to you. And then it would be checkmate, right? It was like, I
That's the
wanted
way
to kill
chess
the
always
producers.
is.
But this is one of those check situations. Four queens. By the way, I meant to ask you, have you been in a game with four queens?
Well,
You're a very experienced tournament
If
competitor.
if I have, I actually can't remember. I don't think I've had a slow tournament game where we've each had two queens.
Right, they're
So,
so rare.
Yeah, I think I would remember it if I did.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just doesn't happen very often.
Wow, so give us the current position, if you will,
Yeah,
Dennis.
let's go back.
And since my my attempts to analyze this ending
Yeah.
are going to be futile, I'm going to toss it back to Maurice and say, bail us out of this one, Maurice, because this one is too wild, too many possibilities, impossible to
Did she
calculate.
play after queen B2 check?
Well, this stuff is easy for me, right? I mean, four queens, what's the big deal? Dude, the computer is saying that the position is equal, that it's even, that there's no way for white to win, there's no way for black to win. It's just a perpetual check situation. White has no advantage. That monster queen on D5 is the reason. It's just holding court every which way. This last check played by the young 13-year-old can be responded to by that queen move, queen to D5. It's saying this is actually the best way to play. Simplify the position a little bit and go into an endgame with only two queens that we're used to. The problem, though, with the move king to C4 is that gives white a few more ghost checks. Not that white is winning, but it thinks white is slightly better here. And suddenly you might have some problems. You can't bring your king back to D3 because of the move queen down. And oops, that's a nasty mate to happen. So you'd have to play the queen away from that central square to C5. And then you start getting hunted a little bit. The position's a little bit looser now. So this is not something she wants to do. She would like to instead play this move she needs to find so that she doesn't get into any difficulty. And now the engine is saying that black's actually slightly better. I guess because of this aggressive king, this pawn is no longer the beast that it was before, and the B pawn is kind of strong. It's still a draw. Basically, the position should be equal. Camilla will be relieved that she escaped from this position, but certainly she's got to be thinking that maybe she can win. And it looks like a different move was played. Let's see if we can catch up with the position on the board after queen b2 check. Let me see if I can find here the position. My board is not updating just yet. So let's see if we can get that to refresh. Queen b2 check is still on the board here for me. Let's take a look at the board there and see if you guys can tell what happened in the game after check. Oh, it did happen. Queen h7 check, queen to e4, and then she played a queen check on b3. That's what happened. All right, so let's get to that. Queen check, king up, queen
New
check.
check sheets.
exactly.
Now they're getting new sheets, queen to e4, and then she played queen b3 check. And unfortunately, king d4 was played.
Wow.
Queen c3 was apparently much better for black, but
Wow.
instead she played king to b4, and now a mate in 3 was possible. There was a mate, oh my goodness, she could have mated her with queen a7 check. Only move, queen g7 check, only move, and queen f7 mate. She missed mate in 3 with the queens incredibly, and instead now, after this check, king d4, instead she traded queens, and this is the line now, but it says that she's still winning because she's going to be able to trade queens. Look at this. No matter what, she's going to pick off this pawn because king takes is unplayable because of this check. The youngster has found a different win. She missed the mate, but if queen takes here, she could take this pawn, and she's winning. She's winning anyway. Incredible turn of events. It looks like the 13-year-old is going to pull off the victory. Amazing, guys.
Well, when you were telling me, Maurice, that the computer thought that the game was a draw, I was saying no, no, no way, because it was just so complicated and it was so easy to make an error. And there you see Eswaran playing very quickly because she has her victory in sight.
Well, she is going to win the game.
And
But she saw
Camilla-
that this queen takes e4 was winning, so
Right.
no reason to look for mate when there's an easy queen and pawn ending winning.
But it's terrible that Camilla missed that move, queen
Queen
c3,
C3, wow.
which not only blocks the check, but it sets up a counter opportunity for checking. And had she found that move, then Camilla might have been the winner in this game. A really wild turnaround going here.
Look at
Just
that.
to
She made an illegal move. Camilla made an illegal move. She moved her queen while her king was in check. She moved her queen
Yeah.
while in check, and now she's flustered because Ashrita said your king is in check still. So the arbiter had to come over because she moved. I'm not sure if she pressed the clock, but now now she's agreed to make a different move. I'm not sure what the arbiters are going to do. She hasn't resigned yet, but she was shaking her head, really flustered at what had just happened.
I think that Camilla had made queen takes e4.
I think Camilla did resign.
Queen takes e4, queen takes b4 check, and then Camilla made a check, forgetting that her king was in check.
Right.
Oh my goodness! So dramatic
No, she did
finish.
resign instead.
She
To
resigned
round
instead
three.
after making her illegal move.
Yeah.
She decided to resign and just shake her head, but she was lost anyway.
Wow, a dramatic finish in round 3 just before the free day in the Women's Championship. I think everybody needs to recover after a round like this. And the 13-year-old phenom, Eswaran, 2 out of
2
3.
out of 3 in the first championship of the
Only
age of 13.
only a half a point behind the 2 perennial winners, Irina Krush and Anna Zatonski.
And I think she's tied for 3rd with Tatev and Sabina Foizor.
Wow. Fantastic result and
Fascinating day in both tournaments. Great chess.
great chess. And again, I do apologize. I'm a terrible host. I've been following some of your Twitters. We want to give the chess.com diamond memberships to those of you who've given us your best comments and suggestions and ideas. I promise you that when Jennifer returns, she'll be the one handing them out. Very hard for me to determine what is the best Twitter. But Ben, remarkable. Thank you for today's game analysis. If you don't mind, if you could just put that key moment on the board so
Yeah, we should go back one move when-
viewers could see.
This was the critical position.
Crucial. Now, I suspect what happened is Camilla may have seen the move Queen C3, if you could put that move on the board, and just refused to play it because of the crazy move Queen D5 check.
Wow.
And she may have thought, oh my gosh, I'm losing my queen, or one of my queens.
But now we have king somewhere check.
Yes,
Somewhere.
and forgotten that with a move king somewhere check.
And White has two queens hanging.
Black has her choice of which queen to take, in fact. So that was a wild turnaround at that key moment. And
And instead of king d4 losing to everything, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
That was, guys, that was absolutely incredible. You talked about not having queens, 4 queens on your board. I don't remember having 4 queens on my board ever in any game, and that's just simply astonishing. And the reality is that it was easy to blunder. Although Queen C3, she should have found, admittedly. Queen C3 was a very powerful move, but she was in so much time pressure, and it's easy to blunder. And with 4 queens on the board, mate could happen at any second, and we saw it did. And then to blunder the way she did was just really miserable. But kudos to the kid. She just kept throwing ideas at her. It's up to you to find the moves, not up to me to make your good moves for you. Right. So incredible, really amazing turn of events. Again, she wasn't winning. You see Camilla there just devastated, trying to figure out what did I do wrong, and she's look at this point. I wonder if she's going to find here. She knows.
She's looking at the
she
Yes.
knows, looking at the position. She
That
knows there's the move. Let's see if she finds the Queen C3 now with no pressure on, as calm as she is now after the game. She knows this is the moment when it all happened. She probably will put Queen C3 on the board any second, guys.
wow. This is what chess players do. They beat themselves up after a loss, or even for that matter, after a win where they're not pleased with their play. They go internally and they try to look. She has missed
Still didn't find it, even in
Yeah.
analysis. She's
She's
still
been-
checking. She still didn't find the right move there.
the Queen C3. But it was so complex with 4 queens, and you've got to see so much. It's so easy to go wrong.
I think the
But-
big advantage for the younger player, too, was she had almost 30 minutes to basically Camilla having less than 5 minutes at the end of the game.
Right, and on top of that, I know I shouldn't be boldly stating the obvious, but the age gap. When you're young and you've got all of this energy going for you after 5-6 hours of hard battle, you start feeling it, right, Ben? Even though you're a young'un.
I start feeling it the first 20 minutes of our broadcast here. I can't imagine playing
The
5
pressure
hours
is
a day
on.
every day.
The
Wow.
pressure is on. Well, we couldn't leave this broadcast without, once again, interviewing a remarkable young lady who is sitting with Maurice, and to explain what the heck just happened. What did we just see? Maurice.
I'm with 13-year-old Master Ashrita Eswaran. First of all, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
That was an amazing game. You've been treating us to long, amazing games so far, and that one was crazy. Have you ever had a position with 4 queens on the board before?
No.
No, we couldn't. I can't recollect any game of mine with 4 queens. So, what were you thinking when you saw the queens coming on the board?
That she was low on time, so it was easy to make a mistake, but it should have been a draw.
You
So,
felt that it
yeah.
should have been a draw? Because 4 queens, we should evaluate as a draw, that kind of typical situation. Well, it was definitely not typical. Now, in this position, did you miss that she could have played this move, alternatively, queen to
Yeah.
C3? Because this
Yeah.
would have given you some trouble.
Yeah.
Let me just put the new variation up. This move would have given you trouble. You thought you had queen B1 here.
No, queen D1. Then I missed
Queen
the check.
D1. So why isn't my board letting me do it? Let's see.
Well, and it's a check, and I lose the queen on H7. So.
Right, exactly. Queen D1 check, and of course, this king will move out of the way, and then you're in check, and your queen is hanging. So you missed that opportunity. That would have given you some trouble, but again, she was in serious time pressure, so you were able to get away with that maneuver. Earlier in the game, you had opportunities as well. Did you feel you were winning and something slipped?
Yeah, like when I allowed king takes D5.
Exactly, and you're exactly right. That was a critical moment as well. You've got 2 points in the U.S. Women's Championship. Could you have dreamt that after 3 rounds, you'd be right behind the leaders, tied for 3rd place?
No.
How does it feel?
Feels really great. I'm really excited.
I can imagine a lot of people in California right now jumping up and down seeing you win this game.
Yeah.
Indeed, she's even speechless, guys. Well, you got a rest day tomorrow. I imagine your mom is here?
Yeah, I think she came. She did, but I don't know where she is.
You don't know where she is. This is a great Mother's Day gift. Huh? Go give her a big hug. Ashritha Eswaran, congratulations on your victory, and we wish you the best in the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Guys, an amazing story. We're seeing the youth movement here, 13 years old, vying for first place, at least right now in third place in the U.S. Women's Championship. Back to you.
A fantastic, fantastic result. And poor Camilla, the flip side of the coin, for every winner, somebody is lost. And there's Camilla still at her board, puzzling over the one that got away. But our congratulations once again to the winner. And thanking you very much for joining us for our broadcast tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern again. My mistake. We're on Central Time. 1 Central. We will come back to bring you live broadcast of round 4 in the U.S. Championships. The women's will have a free day. Don't forget about Mother's Day, everybody. And again, Ben, it was really great of you. Thank you.
It was great working with you and Maurice, and happy Mother's Day, Ma.
Happy Mother's Day. And again, thank you for joining us. Hopefully Jennifer will be back. Thank you all again. Thank you, Maurice.